Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So we're going to do a little golf ball testing today. It's been a while.
It kind of feels like we haven't done one in at least a couple months.
Yeah, really nothing fresh in the golf ball scene since early part of the year.
From major brands, I think the product cycles are not usually a summer release for a golf ball, I don't think, are they?
No. I mean, well, saying that, Titleist just released a new one last week.
Oh, we have to get that into test tour speed,
have to
right?
do that. Yeah. So today though, we are going to actually revisit a test we have done previously.
So it was 2 years ago, so it would have been at least two generations ago. What's that?
Yeah, early days.
It was basically Pro V1 against a few of the kind of direct-to-consumer brands, including the Vice.
Yeah.
I do recall the Vice being, if not the best, one of the best.
Yeah.
And I think they're getting a lot of good attention. Just Eric Anders Lang partners with them, so I think people like the brand.
Andrew Rice
does it too.
Yeah.
So I think people like kind of those associations and are curious. Half the price of a Pro V1.
I know.
You know, what am I trading off? Am I trading off?
Yeah. That slogan's everywhere.
I know.
Pro V1 performance for less. That is the tagline of this golf ball.
Yeah.
So we've tested it in the past and we found it to be good. This is a new version.
Brand new, right?
Pro White is a new version. We're going to look into, is it different performance? Have they upgraded, enhanced it, maybe learned from something they've done from their first edition?
Yeah.
And is this a golf ball that consumers really need to get their teeth into?
And I think there's been enough publicity with Titleist, for example, and it's not that we're picking on them, it's just they're the gold standard of golf balls.
It's the opposite. It's
a compliment,
it's
right?
the ultimate compliment.
They are obviously the gold standard of consistency and durability for the type of cover that it is. So are we able to test all of that today? Not really.
Right.
But from a standpoint of a consumer who wants to save some money on golf balls and get a good spinning ball, this could be a good option.
Yeah. Really, we're able to test launch and spin profiles, speed, feel
for sure.
Does it feel good? It's a big part of me. Talk to Titleist and they'll tell you that a big part of their ball fitting is being interactive with the player on how does it feel. Does it feel the way you want a ball to feel off the putter with the wedge? And it'll be really interesting to see what you experience with this. So two golf balls, Pro and Pro Plus. We're going to do Pro V1 versus Pro.
Yeah, which are the most relevant kind of spin profiles to each other.
Right. Three-piece. I mean, obviously what we've learned from softer compression golf balls are they're not really designed as they are marketed.
Correct.
In this case, it's the same thing. They are marketed that this is for medium to high swing speeds. We don't really find that should be the way that people should decide on which golf ball they play based on their club speed.
You usually fit it to the spin profile and the feel and wedge performance, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah, first and foremost.
Green back to the tee.
So speaking of which, there's some extremely fresh Mizuno grooves here. I mean, if there's a durability issue, we're gonna find out.
You're going to see it.
You'll see the ball in between each groove.
I'm interested to see actually how this goes with some fresh grooves.
It's probably the best time to test the ball, isn't it?
It will be. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's quite soft actually.
It's a good one there, Matty boy.
Kind of played TP5X, which I really like for the last few weeks. It's definitely way softer than a ball like that.
That was a lot of spin for a sand wedge right there.
11,500. Yeah, it's spinning like crazy.
Are you getting any ball residue on the groove?
So far, so good. Yeah, so far, so good. I don't see any. The ball.
Any cover? No?
It still looks okay.
Does it?
Yeah.
I mean, three pretty juicy wedge shots that would take it off.
I would imagine if you would have seen it by now, right?
Definitely. Yeah, that was hit nicely.
Try to give it
Right
the
over
full,
the stick.
hit it a bit harder and...
Oh.
I felt almost exactly the same as last swing.
I wouldn't have been able to tell by the sound which ball you were hitting.
These have so much spin.
off that Pro V1.
So much spin.
All right, Matty boy. Well, off the wedges, I think the thing we were most interested in was brand new quad cut grooves on the Mizuno wedge.
Very fresh.
No sign of damage on either golf ball.
No.
They were
both.
That's something else.
I know. I wasn't expecting to see nothing, not really even ball residue. Like, these are sharp.
Yeah.
I played with them the last few rounds, and I've been spinning the ball like crazy.
Yeah.
So.
I know we said that up at the pulpit, that you might have to play sort of 10 feet beyond the stick for the next little while, because you will be ripping them back until the grooves calm down a little bit.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, looking at the launch and speed, literally nothing in it. Standard deviation, exactly the same on both.
Huh.
The Pro V1 had a slightly tighter window in terms of the spin.
And a little higher ceiling, I guess?
Yeah, and just a fraction more spin. In terms of all the other metrics, to be honest, Matty, you literally cannot separate them.
No.
Distance from hole is a few inches apart.
They pretty much felt the same to hit them.
Acoustically, they were the same. If we look at how the ball flies, very similar. On a test like that, there is zero difference.
Love it.
Zero difference, which is really encouraging to start with.
It is, because the wedges, as you said in the intro, that's where you really should prioritize your ball fit.
Absolutely.
So if we get to the driver and there's a slight trade-off, well, you've already checked the most important box at this point anyway.
Yep, okay, so
7?
let's get into a little 7-iron. Good looking flight.
175 is probably good today, bud. It's nice.
Good.
Yeah.
So spin rate we would expect to probably see right around 56 to 58, or maybe a little more.
7 irons, yeah, yeah.
That
This
long
is high-ish though, which is, I think it's what it's
good.
designed for, right? Like,
Yeah.
you want to see the ball, nice mid-iron spin.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. 62. Interesting. It's good. Yeah, it spins more, bud. I pretty much have no doubt that this spins more on average, though.
That's wild. This is the tightest ball test we've ever done. Nice.
That's nice.
It's nice.
Sounds good off a driver. Compressed.
That's it.
Yep, that's a good one.
That's nice. That's really nice.
Yeah.
What's that spin at?
23.
Yeah, it's...
So it sits a little below it then. That's nice.
So touching back over the wedge, Matty boy, we didn't see anything.
No.
Standard deviation very tight. Spin was a little bit tighter for Pro V1, but enough that we can go, well, and that could quite easily flip around on a different set of shots.
For sure. They were very close in spin.
Nothing major. Jumping into the 7-iron, when you look at just the ball flight alone and the dispersion alone, before we even get into the numbers, you would basically say that's the same. Regardless of the nuances in spin and speed and launch and distance, it has the look of the identical ball flight.
Is it because they're close enough in all those metrics, you'd be hard-pressed to say that it's
Definitely.
not different enough to separate.
Yep. So a little bit quicker for the Pro V1, a fraction higher spin. And this is the interesting part because the higher spin comes even though you did actually hit it more on line or more of a draw. So that's, we've seen in the past maybe a little bit higher spin like that, as in like 120 or whatever that is. It maybe can be attributed to shape.
Yes.
But in this case, it's not.
So you've canceled that out. You can pretty much say Pro V1 spins a bit more on a mid-iron.
A fraction higher in the mid-irons, a fraction. You wouldn't be unhappy really with either.
No.
Similar distance and obviously deviation's good. But we start to see a bit more of an interesting storyline when we get to the driver, because we saw a bit more of a discrepancy on speed.
Okay.
And the package that Pro V1 was designed to have in its newest form is to spin less off the driver.
Yes.
So it was quick and spun less off the driver.
Which is what all the tour players, is that what you said? The tour players wanted those two things? That was what they
asked for. Yeah, so they kind of found that they preferred the feel of Pro V1, but they preferred the ball flight and stability off of Pro V1 X off the tee. So they kind of changed the profile of it. That they gave it what they call a new aerodynamics package, lowered the spin. It's exactly what we're seeing there.
Absolutely. It's basically exactly what the high control player wants. They want to be able to spin the irons, land them really soft, but you can't be giving up 10 yards on the driver because it's spinning.
No.
So it's in a good window.
No, you wouldn't want that for sure. So the lower spin players, Matty, would, or players playing a slightly lower spin driver, could fit into that Vice Pro really nicely. Really nicely. If you're somebody who maybe spins the driver at 1800 but occasionally at 1400, 1200.
True. Saves you from that. Maybe
a little bit more of that. That type of attribute is where the Vice Pro could be very good. But I mean, for a 1 dozen purchase at $45, we said, $46
about
Canadian.
That Canadian, yeah.
35 US, and it can be as low as, I think we said, as low as 25 US.
If you buy 5 boxes.
If you buy 5 boxes.
Which isn't crazy. You stock up for your season.
Definitely. You could invest that into it. That's phenomenal value.
I think the biggest takeaway is don't think that they're cheap because they're hit 2 wedges and throw them away. The ball's fine. Like, we hit lots of balls. Honestly, it doesn't have a mark on it.
The durability test was remarkable.
It's quite remarkable. And again, Pro V1 was just as good. I'm not saying it was better, but it's
was.
More of a surprise that did it well than Pro V1 you expected it to hold up perfectly.
You would think somewhere in there would be a cosmetic difference to the kind of the paint quality. I mean, we know what Titleist goes through to make the golf ball the way they do it. I mean,
definitely.
That Massachusetts plant is incredible.
Oh yeah.
The fact that we can even talk about this golf ball in even remotely the same breath.
So true.
Is a huge testament to what they've done. Now, we said at the top of the episode, there's things that we cannot test. If we cut a dozen in half, are we going to see inconsistencies in the symmetry of the core?
Yeah, maybe.
We might, and we can't discount that. We know that the guys at My Golf Spy and other outlets have looked at that and seen at times some weaknesses there.
Could be. You just have to decide if that's important to you.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And it may or may not be.
Yeah.
This is obviously dry. Maybe if it's wet outside, if there's long grass, maybe the paint wears different. Who knows? But as you said, for it to do this well indoors for that amount of money, it's a good ball.
This is a fairly basic test, and the criteria that we set, I'd have a hard time telling you that the little bit you might sacrifice on the driver isn't worth it for the price.
For sure.
You know?
It's a great option. Great ball.
Really, really good. Okay, guys, hopefully, that's validation for those of you who already do play the Vice golf ball. Those of you who maybe are on the fence, I think it's worth trying it yourself and see what you think. Titleist is still the gold standard when it comes to golf balls. We know that, from a quality control standpoint, they put more into it than any other company. So I think you can hear that's why we're so enthusiastic about the way the Vice Pro performed here. Let us know if you guys would like us to test the Pro Plus, the Vice Pro Plus.
So 4-piece to 4-piece. We did 3-piece to 3-piece.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Let us know. We now have them. Let us know if you would like us to do that test. If you would, we'll happily test that and see if it's as tight on those two. And like we wondered, is it the Titleist sort of performance criteria that they have as the benchmark at Vice HQ in Germany? Maybe.
Yeah, it seems like it's definitely feasible they've achieved that, yeah.
Okay, guys, let us know if you want us to do that. If you don't subscribe to the channel, we're still driving that forward. Make sure you subscribe. That way you'll know when the next videos come out. You'll get a notification and you won't miss any of the good content. We'll see you again soon.